All right, peeking in today to do a full moon reading. Tomorrow's a full moon in Gemini. I actually had to look it up because, like, for real, like, sometimes I feel nice and wild and alive during full moons, but this one I'm like, does the full moon hate me? So, anyways, and funny enough, I was pulling a card for myself for this broadcast from the Ask Your Guides deck, and Asiel the Oracle got me. Thank you, Asiel. I'm like a friggin' bear today, and the card that came up is suffering. Yeah, so it's definitely like a grumpy bear feeling, a little bit. And as you can see in this card, the suffering is from the Divine Teacher, number 23. So, how is this full moon making you feel? To emotional. Hold on one second. I feel like we're smeary. Emotional, kind of like wanting to release. How is the full moon making you feel? So let's look at this card. It is Divine Teachers 23. Which one are you today? I know which one I am. So I want to look in the book. So anyways, when I saw that I pulled this, I was like, let me look in the book. Let me go live. Let me read it. It's suffering. It's Divine Teachers. This full moon in Gemini is described by Astrology King as love crisis. So if you're feeling a little rough today, ask yourself, is it from past betrayals or trauma when it comes to love? So anyways, according to Astrology King, there is a triple conjunction of Venus, Saturn, and Pluto, and this means serious challenges involving love and or money. It could be reaching a crisis point. So this first card, suffering, from our Divine Teachers, says that it could be with betrayal, sickness, trauma, or accidents. An important part of being human and something that can't be avoided is the pain that comes from simply being vulnerable to the physical world. Your Divine Teachers warn that you're facing such a time. Sickness may be at hand, accidents, traumas, sudden loss, and injury are all potentially around you. What's up, full moon? Whether confronted with something severe or just an ongoing struggle of getting through the day. So yeah, that is totally how I feel today, just getting through the day. Your physical body may be challenged, pain and suffering may follow. So yeah, this isn't meant to scare you, but like that's what it says in the book. This isn't meant to scare you, but rather to warn you that you're not as grounded as you should be. Duh. In fact, you may be attracting injury or drama to gain some personal space. Very interesting. So there is more to that. I will check it out here in a minute, but I definitely want to say that this full moon is certainly making me so tired. I just I didn't go back to sleep or anything, but like it was like just really comforting to stay in bed for a few hours, kind of meditating, kind of relaxing, kind of like just wallowing in my suffering, feeling like these emotions coming up and like just feeling like kind of, oh, so I don't know, it feels like a good day to see where we can get rebalanced, see where we can get anchored back in, draw some lines, cut some cords, and see how we can relieve our suffering. But it's not just that we want to get out of our suffering. You know, it's not even like an escape thing. It's like, let's feel it so it can be done with it. So, from the guidebook, Ask Your Guides, it says, your divine teachers advise you to be open to the fact that any pain or upset you attract isn't without hidden gifts and opportunities. So, sometimes people break a leg, but it's like actually just so they can get a break from their life. Or they need to learn a lesson, like they just have never learned how to slow down, and then they literally are being forced to slow down. And even something it says in the book, your runny nose and cough may give you the privacy you need to regenerate your spirit. So it's like you may have actually manifested something gross, like snot faced, or and so people were like literally like, whoa, they like step back and give you some space. That's funny to me. So it's also important to note that any pain or drama you attract isn't greater than your ability to handle it. The greatest upset you face might actually be in trying too hard to avoid pain, which in the end may cause even more. So anyone who works in the ER tonight or tomorrow night, it's a full moon. And sometimes like full moons just sort of bring out some craziness, and so that was funny, haha, that we pulled the suffering. This full moon definitely is making me not shine. It's making me feel like, what's the point? It's making me feel tired, and yeah, definitely. So I'm not even surprised to see the suffering card. Like it was like, yeah. So let's see what else. And the fear that you won't be able to abide any discomfort. Like if you're worried about discomfort, it's more disabling than anything that might actually incur. So this is saying that even if something does happen that you would judge as bad, it's going to be fine. You'll gain wisdom, compassion, and strength, and maybe some space to chill out. But most people like get this card and it's like a heads up. Like, do you want to clean up your energy now, or do you want to manifest the inevitable that you will manifest if you keep on chugging along like you're doing? So if you're not living a balanced life, things will happen that will balance you. So even in this card, when we look at the two divine teachers on the tops, like that's a very balanced energy. I would say that's the person's higher self right there. And of course, this is the human self. That's me, or you, or whoever's suffering. And yeah, so the higher self is trying to bring in this incredible balance. They're each holding a star. But it's like, are you going to let it in or not? So your divine teacher's message: embrace and be patient with your pain. It will bring insight and understanding, and in time, peace. You will heal. So whatever you're going through today and tomorrow with the full moon in Gemini, if you're having a love crisis, a money crisis, a life crisis, everybody F off crisis, like that's how it's been going for me. Like last night, like after I sat through an Herb Oracle editing thing while I live streamed it, I was like, to hell with this. I don't even want to listen to these podcasts, let alone sit still for them. Because when I listen to podcasts, I'm better off like moving around and cleaning or doing dishes, or like I never just sit and do nothing and listen to anything. So that I was like, why am I torturing myself? Whose idea was this? So it's kind of like we got to start living your best life. And while we're trying to figure out what the hell that actually means, if it's not feeling good, it's time to cut it. So anyways, that's the message from suffering. Like if it's not feeling good, cut it. Don't be afraid to sit with your suffering. There's that. Don't be afraid to sit with your suffering, because it will pass, and nothing happens to you that you can't handle it. Like everything you're going to be able to handle. Right? Oh, burdock root tea, what's up? Okay, let's pull a couple supporting cards from this deck called Magical Herb Oracle Enchanting Secrets from the Garden. And we'll just see what they have to say about suffering. All right, this is from Sherilyn Darcy. It's illustrated by Dear Dandy. What a great name. I'm curious if Dear Dandy was born with that name. Or if that was like one that, like, you know, she acquired along the way. But illustrated by Dear Dandy. Like, did your mama name you that? Did she? Because my mom was Slack and then Sadie Marie. If other kids are getting named Dear Dandy. All right, but I'm guessing that was like, my new name is Dear Dandy. From this point on, I shall be known as Dear. I can't wait till I get a new name. All right, so full moon in Gemini. I hate it. I hate it. I actually hate this full moon. So I'm totally sitting with my suffering on many, many levels. I'm letting anything that wants to come out, come out. I'm cutting cords. I'm deleting friends. I'm maybe never gonna go back to anything I said I was gonna go back to. Like, I literally feel not crazy. Like, some full moons make you feel crazy, and I love that, actually. This full moon in Gemini is making me feel disenchanted. So that is actually suffering for me. Okay, but Magical Herb Oracle is here. So how much can I suffer when I'm surrounded by herbs, you know? Like, I usually start feeling much better. One, as soon as I start pulling cards, and two, being around herbs. All right, so let's just get a couple herbs. Ooh, there we go. Our first herb is turmeric with radiate. And on the bottom of the card deck is soothe with slippery elm. All right, so here is our full moon in Gemini, our F moon. Like, you might as well just call this one an F moon. Yeah, just call this one an F moon. So I love that we got turmeric, and along with slippery elm, because slippery elm has that, obviously, a message of soothing. But even though turmeric has a message to radiate, what turmeric actually does also in the body, it's an anti-inflammatory. So it's actually two messages that are coming in to soothe this human that's suffering, right? So two supportive herbal allies are coming in to help soothe this suffering. Turmeric literally can calm down inflammation, and slippery elm is also amazing for comforting, soothing, like your intestinal tract. Like, when you mix slippery elm with water, it's like this slimy, thick, goopy stuff, right? And then you chug it down, and it goes through your guts and just coats the inside of your intestinal tract the whole way to the end, and it soothes it and it makes you feel better. You may be old enough to remember slippery elm throat lozenges. They still sell them. I see them online, like they're still in the tin, kind of like an Altoid, but they're a slippery elm pastille, and just as it would soothe your guts, it would soothe your throat. So we have this soothing energy coming in. We have this anti-inflammatory energy coming in, also with this message to radiate. And I love that when we look at this guy, there's this radiating light around him, kind of. So as the higher self, as the divine teachers bring in this higher energy, this higher light, it's like, can you shine it back? Can you be a mirror back? Can you radiate it back? Even if you don't have it going on inside of you right now, like you feel just like kind of empty and disenchanted, discouraged, unamused, completely disinterested with life. Like that could be like the Christmas season too that I'm picking up on. Like this is a really hard month for a lot of people because you're expected to be happy and jolly and feel good and expected to have fun and be totally okay with blowing 3 extra paychecks on, gifts and things that you don't need. And a lot of people are just like collectively, right now. So anyways, I could be picking up on that energy. Definitely have a little bit of my own, but I'm excited to read from the guidebook what turmeric has to say about radiating light, radiating this better energy. So even if you don't have it yourself, even if you can just become like a mirror, because divine source, love, God, higher guides, all it is, like whatever you want to tap into, they can shine the light on you for sure. And all you have to do is be open enough to be a mirror and reflect it back. Give it back. Give back thanks. Give back, just reflect it back, right? And then it'll touch upon you enough that you'll feel better, and then hopefully you'll start to radiate your own light. So anyways, turning to number 32, turmeric. While a conflict is indicated, so there we are, full moon in Gemini, love crisis, money crisis, conflict energy coming in over the next 48 hours or whatever. While a conflict is indicated, there is the chance to step up and overcome challenges. The truth is about to come out, and you need to make sure you're on the right side of it. Keeping a positive attitude during any setback or delay is also incredibly important at the moment. So turmeric also says there seem to be opposing views or goals, and careful, though strong negotiation will need to be undertaken to navigate a way forward. All right. An improvement in health and happiness is shown. Be careful not to give in to the pressures that could cause additional stress because there are better times and greater opportunities on the way. So that's really good, especially to come in and support the suffering card. It's like, okay, so it sucks right now. You're suffering. Happy F moon. If you could just try to maintain, like, I love the suffering person holding their head. Like, literally hold yourself right now. If you have to, like, hold your head even, like, just try to, like, be as positive as you can be. And if you can't be positive, try to be as neutral as you can be. And if you can't be neutral, just try to minimize your negativity down to the smallest little bit if you can. Because there are better times, there are greater opportunities, they're coming. But right now, you just have to sort of ride this out and figure out how to soothe this in the moment. So yeah, that's the turmeric that we're looking at. It's really a cool plant. I just always ever see it powdered, the orange powder, but it grows in Hawaii, I know for sure, in India, and that's the plant right there. And I would love to try some fresh. So anything else that I wanna say about turmeric? This card is the magical correspondences for turmeric are fertility, confidence, strength, protection, health, passion, trust, and freedom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 out of 8 of those are not going well for me. Okay. So anyways, they do have a turmeric radiate spell in this book, which basically just like looks like a recipe for golden milk. But when you drink the turmeric, um, and ginger concoction that they suggest, the spell is you go outside to drink it in the sunlight. And you say, "Power of the sun, fill my brew with your heat. Let my plans and myself radiate out to what I shall meet." So radiating your energy out, right? Manifesting better. That was the last Herb Oracle podcast that I edited yesterday. I haven't been able to bring myself to do another one. Manifest better, radiate out. Let my plans and myself radiate out to what I shall meet. So turmeric is used in spells and ritual work to inspire trust. It's a great hex breaker, and it's also of value in love and sex spells to increase passion and desire. So that's pretty interesting. What if you need to minimize those attributes in your life? Because, well, Gemini full moon is just bringing in love crises, or love droughts. Okay, so that's a good question. Let's go to Slippery Elm 35. It really doesn't matter what the answer is, Slippery Elm says. You need to soothe yourself. You need to chill. You need to try to be positive, even though you are freaking not right now. So Slippery Elm says a change of fortune and situation look to occur, and they could be major. Although it may appear challenging, it will all be very positive in the end. So that is amazing, because suffering, right now you can't even see the benefit. You can't see the help. You can't see the plans. You can't see the love. You can't see the good vibes coming in. But Slippery Elm says a change of fortune, it's set to occur. Okay, it might be a little challenging, but it's going to be positive in the end. A definite turning point is indicated, and you are being prompted to take a more active hand and not just let things evolve around you. Slippery Elm says don't get discouraged by any setbacks, as they are going to be a natural part of the ebb and flow. Keep yourself positive. There's our second message, to try to be positive, as there is much to be optimistic about. Actually, I think all three of them touched upon being positive, making the best of it, trying to not stay focused on the worst or what's the suffering. Try to be positive. Good fortune, positive growth, and steady upward development are shown. So Slippery Elm is a tree. And like a lot of times I choose marshmallow root because, it's more sustainable than slippery elm. But slippery elm is a really amazing plant, an amazing herbal ally. The magical correspondences of slippery elm are used in gossip, speech, protection, spell breaking. And you can use this in a spell to soothe your problems. So anyways, very, very, very interesting. Here's to you, Slippery Elm. Here's to you, problems I face. Thanks for the lessons. Now away and with haste. So when you are finally done suffering, when you are finally done with your experiences, with your lessons that need to be learned, say to them, thank you for the lessons. Now away and with haste. Get out. Get the F out. Get the F out with this F moon. So, anyways, there's our pretty low key and depressing message for this full moon. What did I say? In Gemini. Definitely, it's bringing up and letting out a bit of suffering. But it's like, go ahead and feel that. But at some point, start to radiate your own vibes. Start to have more of an active hand in the energies that you are a part of. Make sure that even though you're sick of life, you still are making a little bit of effort to manifest something that you prefer and something that you want. And, definitely do whatever it takes to soothe you and feel better and let it all pass. So thank you, divine teachers, and thank you, magical herbs. Whew. Let's go back to bed.